Welcome to Dailies today, live from studios. I'm Sheriff Quadry, Jimi Disu here. Let's start with a Punch newspaper today. Ex-Lagos Commissioner Abdul Lateef returns to APC. Ex-Lagos Commissioner Abdul Lateef returns to APC. It's a story on page 9 of the Punch.
Yeah, Sheriff, this is a big embarrassment to me. Very big embarrassment. Just 2 weeks ago or thereabouts,
Right.
when this gentleman said he was leaving the
Right,
APC
right.
to pursue his governorship ambition and so on and so forth. We were all here hailing him and thinking he's a new dawn in politics. I didn't know that he was same of same. I'm completely embarrassed at what the gentleman has done. And I just hope that... I'm sorry to say this, I hope he never achieves that ambition of ever becoming governor, because definitely I don't think that's what governors are made of. As at the time this happened, as soon as it happened, as a journalist, somebody with a hunger for news and with a passion, for a new political thinking, we jumped on it, and we were going to have him to be our guest last Saturday on the discourse. Only for me, I can't remember what day it was, just got a very quick and urgent note from him the day the promo went out to say that he was sorry. He would no longer grant the interview, and he would be telling me the reasons later in confidence, and I didn't bother. I'm not interested in hearing any confidence. And then later, of course, now, as expected, he's back to where he left. This shows a gentleman of complete lack of thinking and integrity.
Right.
Before you make a decision like this, you have followers, you have the public.
You were full of praises.
And you should have known. You should have tidied this up before you left. What is it now that has brought him back? Your guess is probably as good as mine. Having been a public officer before, the speculation that I'm thinking of is what I'm sure most other people are thinking of.
Right.
And so he's back where he belongs. He's been whipped back into line, I suspect so. He's been whipped and bullied back into
What
line.
does this say about opposition in Lagos?
Well, what this just says is that we still lack a lot of integrity in the political realm. I'm sorry to be so harsh on him, but he's not behaved responsibly at all. This is a bad example to younger people. I'm a full-grown gentleman. His degrees are as long as my arm. You come up and say you want to leave the party. We thought it was a new dawn.
Right.
Politicians should know that your followers are not just those who come cap in hand to beg things from you. You understand? You tend to gather followers as quickly as possible. Only God knows how many people took note of that and were saying that, this is a new hope.
Yeah.
And in less than a fortnight, you're back to where you said you would live. I feel sorry for Lagos. I feel sorry for Nigeria, in all honesty.
Right.
And what this shows, it says that the morning shows the day. What this shows that if care is not taken in our own lifetime, you might not see a change of the status quo. This is very, very demoralizing. It's very, very demoralizing, very, very embarrassing. And I've never met him. And I don't think I'll be interested in meeting him, come to think of it. I've never met him.
Wouldn't you be interested in asking questions as to why he made such a decision?
Sheriff, I'm not interested.
I think we should know. Like,
you
why did you do that?
I didn't say you should do
maybe it's a way to actually get to know the intricacies, especially in the political realm,
Sheriff,
as you put it.
Sheriff, as a full-grown adult, we are responsible for our actions.
Yes, we are.
There are certain things that you do, you don't go back. There's certain things that you do as a man of integrity, you don't go back.
Especially when it comes to decisions like this.
It would have been better for him to quit politics entirely.
Right.
Than go back immediately.
Because this is supposed to be a matter of principle.
It's a matter of principle. And a politician has followers. Both those he knows and those he doesn't know. And for this, you now dribble full-grown adults like myself and yourself to think that, it's a new dawn, only for you to just turn around. He's an unserious fellow.
Does that also mean that
I'm sorry to be harsh on him.
Does that also mean that they don't actually care about the feelings of their supporters?
They don't. I'm sure this was a ploy to get something. And I wish him luck if he ever got it. But what he should know is that if he still has the ambition to become a governor, I think he should go look for another state. Because I know that a lot of people have marked him that he cannot be governor of this state. That's not what governors are made of. He cannot be. I'm sorry. He cannot be.
He had to display some really.
That's not what governors are made of. It's politically, that's it. I am telling you, it would have been more honorable for him. You see, whatever it was, even if he was threatened, because that's the one people can easily hide on that and say, oh, it was a security thingy.
Right.
Then you quit the scene completely. You don't go back.
But we've seen this before. It happened just a few months away in Edo State.
This is not a total case of party crossing.
Yeah.
This is a significant move. It's a significant move. The implications are even far more than Obaseki go to PDP to get a mandate. You know, this was look. Just yesterday, I was speaking to an elderly Lagosian. She kept me down for 20 minutes. You know, lamenting and lamenting and lamenting. So people were thinking, quite a number of people are taking note of this gentleman. Though, to be fair, I was hinted at Jimi. And those who hinted me, I said, I don't know him. I just, even if it's just the principle, if you can see this principle through, we would have made a breakthrough. I don't know him. I've never met him. I don't know of him. I've never met him. The only thing is that I checked up his profile. He has a string of degrees and so on and so forth. I said, well, as far as that goes, only for him within how many days now to turn around again. That's not the mark of a serious person.
Right.
I'm sorry to say.
Right.
We do apologies.
Yeah. Let's speak of Vanguard. Rehab. FG alerts motorists on total closure of 3rd Mainland Bridge from tomorrow. That's a report coming through from Vanguard today.
Well, I don't know when our suffering in Lagos will end. I mean, if this has to be done, it has to be done, to be fair. And it's going to be done over the weekend. But it's just also, again, to use the opportunity, you know, to put a word through to the government to please provide succor. I mean, look at my own case, for example. I have to take an extra whatever now, look for an apartment on the island just because I can't get here on time from the mainland. That's not how I can imagine the number of business people who have to do that.
Right.
What if I couldn't afford it? Then I'd be putting my health in jeopardy. So we'd like to tell this Lagos state government, for crying out loud, to provide succor for its citizens and make life more bearable. People are lamenting day in, day out, day in, day out. They talk now, you pick up your phone, you call somebody, says, oh, I spent 2 hours yesterday, oh, I spent 5 hours yesterday.
Right.
These things go on and on. You keep hearing excuses. You keep hearing a lot of rhetoric. You keep hearing a lot of propaganda, a lot of mumbo jumbo, but action zero. You keep hearing the idea, we have thrown another 350 last month. For God's sake, the traffic is not moving. If you put 1,000 last mile officials on one spot and there's no thinking going along with it, you're not going to get anything but confusion, which is what we are getting. And then for the rule of law to be applied, I don't know why we keep knocking it into this governor's head that you must, by all means, there must be law and order in Lagos. You know, there must be law. We keep telling this governor there must be law and order in Lagos, in the environment, in traffic. There must be law and order, but Lagos is a free-for-all now. Unfortunately, all I'm saying now is that do they get these signals in Ondo? Because that's where the governor is right now. He's busy campaigning. He's busy campaigning in Ondo.
Oh my word! But his men are still here.
But I must say that I'm disappointed and embarrassed. One more time again, I thought that this government, the combination, had the capability to move the state forward, but it's becoming same of same. Why must we always keep referring to the time of Fashola? For how many years would it take? So, but these people, you know, the man, these people were commissioners under him. That's the governor and his deputy. But how long will we keep referring to Fashola as a case point?
Indeed.
What is so? Let's even put it. What is so difficult about governing? If people can govern the New York State, why can't the same thing happen here? And it boils to two major things.
What's that?
No deep thinking, and then the inability to enforce the law. And then we get so much involved in trivialities. I saw in the paper, I just wanted to dismiss it, but now that we're here, I might as well talk about it.
Yes, please.
There was a 20-bed facility was opened in one of the hospitals yesterday.
Right.
The governor was there represented by his wife too. What are you opening? What's in opening a 20-bed facility? Why do we get involved in these trivialities? You build an extension and you move on.
Right.
We're going back to the Ambode days when he launched the helipad in Lasuf in Ikeja. Lagos takes a lot of serious thinking and serious action, and we are not seeing it.
Jimmy, let's move on. Let's take this message from WhatsApp. Abu Latif started his political career in our estate, Jakonde Solo, with all sorts of promises. Immediately, he was voted to represent his zone here. He disappeared into the air till date. Adewale sent this in from his solo on WhatsApp. Yeah.
No,
So,
I think if I look at the string of degrees that he has, come to think of it, look at and the things that he does in a day, I can then imagine what the problem is.
Okay. You want to share?
No, that's why I'm not looking at you.
Okay.
Did you think I loved my shoes? I was looking at my shoes deliberately. I don't want any eye contact with you.
Okay. Let's.
I think it's just, to be honest with you, it's just a political joker. That's what it is. It's just, I think it's just, he likes this fantasy of. But he got me there. I fell for it, and that's it. That's put it behind me.
Let's go to the Nation newspaper. We have a piece here written by Olatunji Ololade, and he says that Kwabiodun's tarnished lyric, part 1. That is what they call that piece.
That's another. Yeah. Dakwabiodun is the governor of Ogun State who embarrassed everybody by what he did. I'm going to do a thorough analysis of this article at 9. But look, this paragraph caught me. It says Governor Abiodun forgot to reward Miss Aishat Karim, an SSS2 student at Aminat International College, and her 3 teammates for earning Ogun State the first position and grand prize at the just concluded Junior Engineers, Technicians, and Scientists JETS, organized by the Federal Ministry of Education in March 2020. And it says, although Karim and her team scaled through the zonal and state levels to emerge overall winners, they weren't deemed worthy of 3-bedroom flats and 5 million. I think he's talking a lot about the triviality.
Yeah.
Look, Sheriff, I'm getting a bit worried about some of the younger leaders we're producing. They're giving more to show business than to getting the job done. You don't see any commitment. It's always about the next election. Dakwabiodun put out another tweet today saying that something to do with, I just dismissed it, how he had done this and that for the youth, and then at the end of it, he wasn't even, he now put supports, he needs something youth support, more or less asking for youth support. I know what it is. It's the next election. And the sad part is that our leaders don't look at development. They look at their own personal ambition.
It's all about ambition
and it's
for
a
them.
pity that our youth don't see through this. I keep telling them, don't allow these people deceive you. Don't allow them throw little things at you to divert your attention from your own development. If Awolowo hadn't done what he did, a lot of them, I still maintain, would not be. A lot of them would be selling popcorn in traffic at their age. But Awolowo concentrated on education, made it available with honor for all. Why aren't these people doing the same?
Right.
There are 2 most important things in the life of any nation. One is health, feeding. The next one is education. Without education, without a premium on education, you cannot develop. And if you now find your leaders honoring trivialities, it's a big pity. I will deal with this thoroughly at 9 o'clock.
Right.
Yes, at 9 o'clock.
Right. Adewale on YouTube says, a joke of the year, politicians can never be trusted. He's seeking relevance, but now messed up his integrity. That's Adewale's comments to Abu Latif's headline. Let's take a look at Vanguard newspaper quickly right away. I have no issues with Oshoba. Let him declare his stand on restructuring. Adebanjo, the writer says Oshoba, APC leaders in Southwest are scared of Buhari. That's coming through from the Vanguard today.
Well, I have to handle this one gingerly because I don't want to be seen to be taking on elders, as the case may be. But I'd like to tell these 2 gentlemen to please take their personal quarrels and animosities out of public space.
Okay.
Because we need to concentrate on moving on. And this has gone on just a bit too far. What they're arguing is, I want to stand. What does Oshoba stand on restructuring got to do with the rest of us? Every man has a right to his own. Why does it appear here as if Chief Adebanjo believes that he has a mandate of the whole Yoruba. Did he ask them for their mandate? You know, some people talk in public as if, you know, they've been given that mandate to talk. No, sorry, sir, with due respect. Whatever you might feel about restructuring or whatever, they're your personal beliefs.
It's still your personal opinion.
It's still your personal opinion. Now, I am not against restructuring in principle. It's the way the protagonists are going about it that I fault. Because the way they are going about it is not going to achieve anything but attention to them. The proper thing to do is to go about it constitutionally. We will no longer allow, a lot of us will no longer allow a group of people sit down and say, we are going to decide this, and they were not elected. Because all this is towards having some kind of national conference where everybody can sit down and grandstand without really having what I would call a proper mandate. Some people with traditional titles believe that it's a political title. Sorry, sir, it is not. You get what I'm saying? There are some people who, I heard one of them saying that, oh, with the title that I have now, if I'm called upon, nobody's calling upon you, sir. If you want a political title, if you want to be a political leader, go test your mandate with the people. And it's not by gathering numbers. That's not your strength.
Okay.
If I set up a club now and I have 2 million numbers, it is still not my strength. My strength is a mandate given. There are constitutional means by which these things can be done. During elections, the Afenifere, all of them should have gone to the grassroots to go and campaign that when you are going to vote for this and vote for this, anybody who believes in this and believes in that. Right. And then if the people so desire, they will vote for such a person.
Indeed.
You know? But, you know, some of the things that are... look at here, it says that Oshoba fled Adebanjo's allegations, and then in a chat with Vanguard, he says that Adebanjo has been too dictatorial and was trying to shut out Yoruba from the 2023 presidency by zoning it to the Igbo. If you have a personal mandate of wanting a Yoruba person, fine, but I don't think the Yoruba in total are bothered about whether their president is Yoruba or not. They are more bothered about who's going to move the country forward. We did have Obasanjo there for 8 years, and Yoruba people have to be very careful. They're not the only ones in this country. President for 8 years, vice president for another 8 years,
right?
Speaker for
now
the bank holidays, and another speaker now, and so on and so forth. I mean, we need to be careful about how we position ourselves and rather concentrate on developing a region. Look, let me tell you what is happening. Whilst the attention of the people is being diverted to the center,
right?
The ground, there is lack of development going on in the West per se.
Back home,
which is where the focus should be. And so our people need to, why we highlight these things is that people need to be careful not to be taken in by people's personal idiosyncrasies, for want of a better word.
Right.
And I'd like that these two gentlemen please keep their. And then the media also should know that they have a responsibility in carrying stories and in carrying headlines. It's not always about news, and money. Let the media also be builders of a country. Okay, let them have a sense of responsibility and be builders of a country. And because we need, especially with the younger ones, there's so much that we need to develop in them that is missing.
Let's quickly take this one from Punch newspaper. The headline reads here at the bottom corner of the page: ex-governor Hakim charged with fraud, giving false information. We'll take that story. The police have charged a former governor of Imo State, Chief Hedio Hakim, with fraud and giving false information. The Office of Inspector General of Police filed the case and dated September 23, 2020, at the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. Now, the case, which was signed by Stanley Wodo, contained 3 counts. In one of the counts, Hakim was accused of giving false information against one Chinyere Amochewa, that she threatened him with a gun, knowing it to be false. He was also accused of derogatory use of the name of Raji Fashola as the owner of a piece of land situated in Ikeja, Lagos State. Well, okay. Ex-governor Hakim charged with fraud, giving false information.
There's nothing more to add.
Nothing to add.
There's nothing to add that it is a sad day for our country. Now he's not been found guilty, but I mean, if you pick up a national newspaper and a former governor is charged with fraud, pointing a gun at some lady and claiming ownership of a land that doesn't belong to him, that's a charge. That it is even at that level alone is upsetting. Can make you lose your appetite for breakfast. And I just wanted to highlight it as some of the developments that we are seeing these days. A former governor.
Some of the unbelievable developments.
You added that word. I didn't. Some of the
It's just ridiculous, right?
Apart from the fact that it's ridiculous, it frightened me. A former governor, Sheriff,
lying to own a land that doesn't
not that
belong
he hasn't lied. He's been
accused of lying.
Of lying. But even that one, and using the name of Fashola as the owner of a purported land. What is they're saying is that maybe he said the land belonged to Fashola and he was selling it on his behalf or something.
Maybe they are friends.
Sheriff.
No, maybe they are friends. Maybe Fashola asked him to sell it.
Well, if he asked him to sell it, why would he be charged?
Maybe just, I'm just saying.
No, I'm hoping, I'd like to see the way where this case goes, and I'm hoping that there is some error here. Maybe it's not, maybe I'd like the newspaper to clarify that the Ikedi or Hakim is the same person as the governor. You know, it happened in the days of Ibori, when he said that the Onanefe Ibori that was caught one time.
Maybe we see that episode again. Oh, wow. Hilarious. It's 7:54. Let's take this headline. Officials embezzled COVID-19 funds. Workers didn't get promised palliatives. This is according to the NLC to report from the Punch newspaper. Officials embezzled COVID-19 funds. Workers didn't get promised palliatives.
We know that the COVID funds were embezzled, but the NLC is trying to redeem its image. I challenge the NLC now to come to us with facts and figures. I challenge them to please come up with facts and figures so we can actually know what they are talking about.
Right.
But that to say that I would buy a newspaper because you say some people embezzle COVID-19 funds in Nigeria, when the child feeding one, ICPC says that, also told us that the money was in certain accounts without giving us the details. I beg, Sheriff.
So wait. Are you saying that you don't believe them until they provide figures and numbers?
No, not just that. I don't believe that they intend to do anything about it. They're trying to beef up their credibility and whatever. It's easy to throw that out. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Okay.
It happened at all levels. Look, Sheriff, there is very little that happens that people like you and I don't get to hear. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, that's true.
But in fact, embezzlement is no longer an issue. If I were a news editor, you rush to me, I have a strong story, so and so has been embezzled. I say, and so what? But what always worries me is, where is all this going to end? You see, this is part of what has led to something like this SARS thing. Right. When this policeman, for example, a man who is obviously underpaid and underfed and not catered for, sees those at the top taking these amounts, how do you think he feels within him? He's angry. You now put a gun in that kind of man's hands.
Right.
If care is not taken, those guys, one of these days, will be directing the guns, I don't want to say at the right places, but the places that will then shake this nation. We need to be careful.
Let's take some comments here as we wrap off today. Well, Kenny Obong is saying that Abiodun is just on a cruise. Femi Idowu says it's Agberoism political ideology in Lagos. As a nation, the earlier we realize that as people we must be responsible citizens. Sonny Sheyi says our leaders are sick, to put it mildly. What value did Legon bring to the people of Ogun State? So when you participate in Big Brother Niger, it means you're an ambassador to the youths. He said we are finished in this country.
Well, what is sad now is that it's unfortunately put the poor guy in the limelight. I'm sure he wished that he could go home quietly with his 75 million and whatever it is, without having this embarrassment. I don't know if it's worth the 5 million. Well, he got a house to it, so not so bad.
Okay. But I'm sure he didn't ask for this.
He didn't ask for it. Let me be very blunt about it. The governor just jumped on the. From what he was saying, he spent a lot of his time watching it anyway. So out of excitement, you know, boy,
Maybe he had bragged amongst his friends.
He had bragged amongst his friends, drinking champagne and whatever. You know, I don't know how a full-grown adult would sit down and watch that show. To be honest with you, so rigorously, to study and see what's going on. More so, somebody with the responsibility of running the government. But then,
Jimmy, what's coming up at 9?
I've told you now.
Okay.
Yes.
That issue.
Okay. And others.
And others too. Lagos, so join Jimmy Disu at 9 on Daily Digest. Jimmy, thank you for coming around.
Thanks, Sheriff.
I'm Sheriff Quadry. We are going back to our 5 a.m. conversation anytime now. Stay here on Nigeria Info. Many thanks to our sponsors, MTN Nigeria, for making this a possibility today. We'll be right back after this timeout. Stay with us.
What did happen, my people? My name is Justin, and I'm maybe the best stylist for this city. See, I sabi Afro, 1 million braids, mohawk, and dreads. Even if you want me your hair smooth like